Monarch Legacy of Monsters episode 3 is upon us, and here I am with my review for you. This episode is entitled Secrets and Lies. Does it keep up with the quality of the previous 2 episodes? Is there any Godzilla action in this episode? Let's find out. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. Welcome to my review series for Monarch Legacy of Monsters. A little bit late with this review because real life has got in the way. But there we go, I'll be back to normal next week. Now again, this episode here is split into 2 different time zone storylines. You have the sort of current era stuff, which is the 2015 era storyline, and you have the stuff in 1954. So let's go with 2015 first and talk about that. So in 2015, obviously at the end of the last episode, the gang of people have met up with Shaw. This is the Kurt Russell version of Shaw. Now Kurt Russell is a welcome addition to anything. Seeing Kurt Russell on screen is fantastic. He's a fantastic actor, and yeah, I got a lot of time for him and the projects that he does. So in 2015, Kate, Kentaro, May and Shaw, they escape from this Monarch compound where Shaw isn't a prisoner, but he's got a sort of a Spider-Pon retirement going on there. They escape out in a little car chase kind of action scene where there's a bit of crashing going on and this sort of a thing. And they come out, like I said, they are in Japan, and Shaw manages to get them onto a boat bound for South Korea, although Kate and Kentaro, they want to go to Alaska because Alaska is where Hiroshi's plane crashed, Hiroshi being the father of Kate and Kentaro, so they want to get there. But Shaw takes them to South Korea. Whilst they're there trying to get through customs, border guards accost them. But Shaw meets up with an old friend of his, Duho, who is expecting them, who is rung ahead. He's a border guard. He helps them out. Like I said, he's an old friend, and he's got a plane ready for them, and it's an old vintage kind of plane, and he flies them to Alaska, where they come across they come across the coordinates of where the other plane had gone down, because May has got her computer with her. She's hacked into stuff, she's got all that information there, she's found some coordinates, and sure enough, this is where the plane went down, and they sort of crash land there. They don't crash land, they land safely, but it's a bit of a bumpy ride to get there. While there, they discover the wreckage of the other plane with a body inside. The body isn't that of Hiroshi, but they soon discover that there is a tent put up. There is a tent put up, and they go into the tent, and someone has set this tent up not far from the wreckage of the plane. And they come to realise it is Hiroshi because there's a pencil nub there, and it's been cut off with a knife. And something was said earlier in the episode that he does this sort of a thing, so they know that it's him. But while there, Do-Ho comes to realise that actually the other plane didn't crash. The other plane actually landed safely. And when he goes into the wreckage of the plane, he sees that there's actually claw marks in there. There are claw marks. He panics, tries to get them off the ice, he starts up his plane only to get attacked by a titan, a creature called a Frostvark, which is a 4-legged creature. It's got these tentacle things out here, and it manages to suck. It does something with the air, and it sucks it out, and everything freezes, and this is the fate of Do-Ho. He gets lost, he dies, and yeah, and that's that. So now we jump back to the 1954 storyline. Now this is 2 years after the events of the last film, with the stuff in the Philippines that occurred with the big ship. And at this point in the story, Shaw himself has now got a position of command within Monarch. He's been and he's working with Randa and Miura, and they get funding to track down these titans and this sort of a thing. General Puckett gives them a load of funding, and what they want is they want some uranium. They need enough uranium, enough about the amount that's dropped onto Japan, because they have this theory. They know that, not even really a theory, they know that the uranium attracts these titans out, and they want to attract a titan out. They have found a foot marking of Godzilla, big indentation in the ground that they've got a sort of model of, and they want to draw this thing out. They want to draw this thing out, and they need the uranium to do this. So we jump to a place called Bikini Atoll, and this is during the Castle Bravo tests. It's been sort of, while there was a lot of atomic testing going on, the story sort of reaches into this, and you've got the backstory that this is them trying to draw out one of these titans. So they've got this bomb on this atoll. Only Shaw, Randa and Muru, they don't, well, Muru and Randa anyway, don't agree with this. They don't want to draw out the creature just to kill it. They want to study it, but the General Puckett has a different idea. He wants to draw it out. He sees it as a threat to national security, to security of the world's safety, and he wants to destroy it. So you've got a load of army people on this other island who are watching this potential test, waiting for this creature to appear. And sure enough, we do get a bit of Godzilla in this episode. Godzilla does appear. The effects look great. It looks like Godzilla, only he's not on screen too long. It shows him, it cuts away, it shows him from a distance. So the effects don't need to be as in detail at that point. And sure enough, they set off the bomb. Miura's going to try and stop it, but he gets stopped by Shaw, and all this sort of thing goes on. You don't see that Godzilla survives this. The characters don't see that Godzilla survives this. But after this, they get a blank check funding from Monarch to track down these creatures to see if any more are in existence. Obviously, they don't know Godzilla has survived. And yeah, so we're given this episode here, and the episode ends in the 2015 era with the attack of this Frost Vark, and it looks like it's turning around and it's going to come for Shaw in that time and the characters with him, and that's where the episode comes to a close. So is this episode any good? Yes, it's very good. It's a very good episode. Again, like I said, having Kurt Russell on screen, fantastic. And you know, having Kurt Russell play his older version of him and having his son play the younger version is just fantastic casting. It really is, because they're so much alike, and you can believe that one has grown into the other, the father and the son. Obviously, this is a much cheaper than de-aging Kurt Russell, a much better way of doing it, to be honest. So, you know, you've got all these characters. Again, the characters are interesting, the characters are intriguing. You've got both storylines going on concurrent. Not so much linear for that first storyline. We've still got to find out what's happened from the end of the first episode and this sort of a thing, but there's enough going on to keep you invested in this series. Yes, the creature stuff is kind of kept to a minimum, and if you actually time how much screen time the creatures get, it is minimal. Godzilla is minimal. He's probably on screen for less than 20 seconds, something like that. But it's 20 seconds done extremely well. You know, I'm only looking at it in that sense. Yes, Godzilla is in the episode. The only nag that I've got about it really is maybe when you've got an action scene where the plane's going down. It's done and over with very quickly. Things like that, things occur, and that may be because the budget can't be stretched too far to have a massive action CGI set piece of an aeroplane crashing or almost crashing, this sort of thing. It does feel like it's done in very quick succession, but I'm nitpicking. I really am nitpicking at it. It's, you know, like I said, it's compelling storytelling. It's good characters, good acting. The budget is on the screen. It does look big budget. It stands up against the other MonsterVerse properties. This is more character focused, more character driven. It's more about the character than what it is about the monsters, and therefore in the title Legacy of Monsters, I don't believe that the title is referring to the actual monsters from the Monsterverse and their legacy. It's referring to Monarch itself and some of these characters in the past and their legacy, how they've become monsters and things like that. That's where the title is drawing itself from. But like I said, a compelling show. Episode 3, very good. I'll be back next week for episode 4, on time this time. But let me know your thoughts on it if you are watching this show. I really am interested in what you think of it, whether it's working for you, whether it isn't working for you, whatever it may be, whatever. All opinions count, all opinions are welcome. Let me know if you're watching it or if you're not. Unfortunately, on Apple TV, I don't believe it gets out to too many people, so they're going to have to watch it a different way, not such a legal way, shall we say. I'm fine with that. I really don't care, because this is a show that eventually I will bootleg when it's finished, because I can't see this won't get given a physical media release. Apple TV don't give nothing a physical media release, so this will go, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go that way with it. But there we go, that's in the future. Just let me know your thoughts, and I'll see you on the next one. Take care all, goodbye.